let's talk about daily huddles.
Okay. What about them?
So first off, when are they supposed to be done? When are we supposed to have them in our businesses?
On a daily basis.
Thank you. I meant more time of day.
Well, you said daily huddle, and you're like, when should we do it? So it is a daily huddle, and I don't really care what time of day you do it. Like it's a practice of what we're doing versus when we're doing it for me. So we've had people do them in the morning. We've had people do them at night. Like we've had people review the day before and the morning of the next morning. Sometimes people wait till the end of the day and then review that day. A daily huddle is just more about it's a tactical meeting. It's about getting on the same page, open lines of communication, reviewing processes, making sure that people have the resources they need to do what they need to do every single day.
You jumped ahead of me. I was going to ask now, what goes in the daily huddle meeting? What are you supposed to cover?
Yeah, I mean, it's three things. One is good news. If you watch one of our other videos, we always like to center ourselves in gratitude to make sure people stay happy and stay connected to why they're there and what brings them joy. Second thing is, what is anything going on today that the entire team needs to know about or that you need help with? So this is a place for me as a leader, manager of the organization, for me to be able to look at the employees, look at the managers, whatever meeting we're having, and say, what do you need help with today? And not only like a managing down perspective, but also managing sideways perspective. Sometimes one leader needs something from another leader. So it's a form way to open the lines of communication and allow people to get what they need for the day to be successful. Third thing is, what's your number? So everybody in an organization should have a metric. Everybody should be tied to a key process indicator. We perform every single day the processes of our business. And the ones you spend the majority of your time in, you should be reporting on that metric every single day and making sure that you have a goal that you're trying to hit every single day. If you're trying to make offers every day, how many offers you want? How many appointments did you go on? How many contracts did you get signed? Like those are the types of things every single day that I want to know. This is the activity that happened yesterday, and that tells me the process for you continue to work.
I want to kind of stress the point of that, what's your number and how people report it. I was working with a team, and the way they had done it is they just filled out a spreadsheet and entered that number there. Where they were lacking was the actual accountability around that metric. Because people weren't having to say that number out loud, having to actually say, here's my metric, and we all know there's a goal to that metric, and it didn't quite hit or didn't quite meet or reach. So the accountability was lost in that meeting because of the way that they were even saying the number that, for that daily huddle. So give me some insight on how do we hold those numbers or metrics accountable? What do we do afterwards if somebody didn't meet the goal of what their KPI should be?
Well, first thing, the accountability starts with them saying it. So as soon as they say it, they're being held accountable. They're being held accountable whether they succeeded or whether or not they didn't succeed. And the second thing is, you got to drive home the point that it's not that they failed, it's that the process didn't work. And so reason we're looking for daily numbers is to protect the process. Process is the way in which we do business, but it's oftentimes the most neglected part of what we do. We neglect it, we don't hold it accountable, and therefore our employees don't respect it. And so they wing it most of the time. So they go outside the process. A process metric, a daily huddle metric, is about making sure that the process worked. And if it didn't work, then why aren't we holding it accountable? We hold it accountable, first of all, saying it. Second of all, by looking at that number every single day. I'm not going to go meet with Susan here if she didn't hit a process indicator today. But if she didn't hit it 3 days in a row, then definitely going to sit down and say, what's going on? Here's the thing. We'll find a lot of times it's not that Susan failed, it's the process failed, the system failed, or the inflow or the outflow of that process started to fall. So we have to make sure that we protect that process, therefore return to protecting the people. The third reason why we ask for this number every single day is so we as leaders know when to come back into the business. We need to know when we're going to get back in the trenches, when we're going to yoke up, when we're going to help the employee, when we're going to help guide them. Sometimes it can be a lack of understanding. Sometimes it can be a lack of training. Sometimes it can be a lack of example. And so it gives me an indication of when I need to come back into the business and adjust things.
That's what we cover. How do we do it? Like if we're, sometimes people nowadays have this virtual office. How do you recommend or suggest they host this daily huddle?
There's a lot of different questions around this. It's like, should we be in person? Should we be on Zoom? How should we do it? And here's the thing. It's less about the in-person as much as it's about the information, right? And so I've had people utilize Zooms to do this. Obviously, my method of choice is be in person. I want to be in person with people. I like being with people. But that's not always the case. It's not always viable for every company to have an in-person daily huddle. But I've had teams use different devices like
Voxer.
Yeah, Voxer's a great one. That's where I was looking for. Voxer, like where they actually Voxer their answers in. It's like Voxer out and go, it's like a walkie-talkie app, and you go, hey guys, just want daily huddle starting, everybody check in with some good news, and you hear everybody's Voxer come back with good news. And then the second thing is, what's going on today that the entire team needs to know about or you need help with? And then people Voxer back that answer, and then last is, what's your number, right? And you get that Voxer back, or sometimes people type it in because they don't have to Voxer it, they can actually type it. And so that's another form of a daily huddle. Daily huddles can be held through email. I don't think they're the most effective that way. I think the most effective way is when somebody actually says the number, whether it's through Voxer, whether it's through Zoom, whether it's in person. And I would try to stick with those 3 formats.
And last but not least, how long should this meeting last?
5 minutes. It's a 5-minute meeting. Those of you which you're dragging this out too long, you're overutilizing the meeting. It's not meant for that. It's 100% meant for a quick good news, something that takes less than a minute. Second part of it is 1 to 2 minutes on, does anybody need help with anything, or the entire team needs to know about something? And then last but not least, that what's your number is a very quick process. You go quickly through it. You're not reprimanding, looking for clarity or information. The leader manager running that meeting then uses this information to help manage and move the company forward that day.